So we're going to talk about first getting more done even when you are pressed for time. I can remember for me, when we first started homeschooling, I was running my event, we were homeschooling, and the children were much younger. I mean, Jack at the time was like sitting on my lap. I wasn't homeschooling Thomas. I sent him away to preschool because I was so afraid, like imposter syndrome, I'm going to mess up my kids. So I'm just going to mess up two of them to start out with, and then we'll see how this thing works, right? I did not have time. And everything around me was piling up on me. Like, and I've said this before, you've heard it. Like, I would get out of bed, I was already behind the 8 ball, and it was just further every single day. I'd walk into the kitchen, dishes in the sink, didn't know where the vacuum cleaner was, laundry at the time, 20 loads a week with the littles, right? Forget about a clean house. Forget about like what's for dinner. Oh, my business. Thank goodness it was a seasonal event. I did not have time. I had no time. But my desperate desire was that I had to find the time. And you'll hear me talk a lot about magical pockets of time. And when I discovered that balance, a lot of times you hear people talk about work-life balance. To me, there is no work-life balance. Just like we said as we first started, like when you're really invested in your work, it feels like everything else goes down. But when you're really invested in your family, then your work goes down, right? So the only time for me was to really take everything out of my head that I needed to do and to map it out. So we're going to talk about 5 things here. Number 1, realistic expectations of your time. Realistic expectations of your time. I know people think, well, I can do it all. You can only do it all for so long. Then you go into burnout, just like with my seasonal event. So a lot of that was a lot of prep moving up to the event. And then the physicalness was really 8 days. And then it was the mental for a few weeks still after. I could not do any more. But for whatever reason, and I'm going to say it's probably, not probably, most likely social media, because we see like all of these success stories. I can do more. If I work more, I know I can make more. I can do more. Realistic expectations of your time. I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by proactive versus reactive. So Jen Dice, she's been a member with me now for 3 years and counting. She quit her job. She quit her job in December of 2020, said goodbye because she was going full-time with her business, and she's got 2 little girls at home. Jen is also an accountability coach inside of Simple Systems. When that shift happens, and I talk about really managing your time in 90-day increments, because the demands of your time change, right? In the first quarter, like it's still probably cold where you are. You want to be inside. We've got fires going. We're focusing in on like, all right, we've coming off the holiday hangover, right? And then Q2, well, there's spring. All right, it's starting to feel better outside. The sun is starting to shine. I'm feeling a little better. I want to go out. I want to do more things I want to do. And then summer. For me, it was like May. I know Maggie graduated, but there was this shift. Like school is out. And if you have kids, there's definitely that shift. Well, when I see Jen do, and the reason why I tapped her as the accountability coach for one of the core programs inside of Simple Systems, is that she is proactive versus reactive. All right. Now, I am not calling your baby ugly if you're like, what am I going to do with the kids this summer? Because my schedule is already packed. If you are tired of living that way, then now let's get proactive and stop adding things onto the plate. So the kids being home is not an addition to the plate. We need to unpack what's on the plate and focus in on the core things. We're going to get to those in just a second. So she quit her job in December. She's now our accountability coach. She just launched a membership. She is a Pinterest strategist. And she proactively said, this is how my days are changing. I'm not adding to, let me adjust how I'm managing my time. You have got to get it out of your head. And we have a process to do this, our signature process inside of Simple Systems of managing your time. You got to map it out. You got to know how much time you have. A lot of times people will say, I got 40 hours. And in reality, they have 14. How I have like, I literally, like when Daniel was home, like we had our morning routine, and I would always say to the kids, and I'd hold up the finger right here at the bar, it only take me a sec. It only take me a sec. And 30 minutes later, 2 hours later, I would be done. I got tired of saying that. You got to map it out, and then you got to work the map. I talk about it, like getting it out of your head and mapping it out, is that you need to give your time directions, and you need to take things off of your plate. So that's why I say stop adding more. Concentrate on less. Well, Rhonda, I got to do social media. I got to do a blog post. I need to do a podcast episode. Oh, I'm launching something. Well, I got to do client work. I need to do marketing. I mean, we could go on and on and on. I just want you to concentrate on those things that are making you money. And it doesn't necessarily mean posting on Instagram and on Facebook and on, I need to be on LinkedIn. I need to be here. I need to be there. You need to be where your people are. That's all where you need to be. A lot of times when we publish our website, don't we feel like it has to be perfect? Because 1 million people are going to come to that website. And if it's not perfect, then they're going to go away. Friends, you could probably right now only manage 10, maybe max 15 clients at one given time. Do less. Do less. So having a realistic expectation of your time, you cannot do everything. If you do, you're going to run yourself into the ground. It's going to be filled with overwhelm and anxiety and dread. And your family's not going to like you very much. I've been there. These are all of the things. This is all of the things I have been there. Be proactive versus reactive. Kids are out of school. If you have littles, what am I going to do with the kids all summer? Because I've got to post on social media and I've got to be all of the places. You have a finite, we all have 168 hours a week. How are you going to spend that time? You want to spend it on family and revenue generating activities. And until those are truly optimized, those revenue generating activities, you don't need to be doing anything else. Stop adding more on the plate. When you're truly focused, you will stop adding more on the plate and concentrate on less. So here's the question. If you have the printable, do you know how much time it takes to run your business? Have you mapped out your time? And do you hold yourself accountable to that time? So if you have a block of only 2 hours to work, do you let it creep into 2.5, 3, 4 hours, and then everything around you falls apart? That's why we work in sprints. That's why we work in 10-minute increments. If you want to go 30 minutes, do you. But if you work in shorter amounts of time, you're going to get that win. When you get that win, ultimately, you're going to start to see the progress instead of the overwhelm. A lot of times, the first thing that you do is time management rockstar when you come into Simple Systems, right? And it's typically in that first 24, 48 hours where people will come into the community and they will comment. And the comments are, oh my gosh, I knew, though people will say they're organized in their business. But what they'll say is, I want to maximize my time more. I want to use systems more. And in that first 24 to 48 hours, there are so many aha moments that is like, I know exactly why I'm not getting things done. I know exactly why I'm always working in my business. All right.